I'm here with Kevin Jacoby of Rain Computing.
Rain Computers.
Rain Computers. Okay, let's do that once more. Because it was Rain Recording for a while.
It was, yes.
I'm so easily confused.
That's the thing about having a good memory.
Hey, Craig Anderton here, and I'm here with Kevin Jacoby from Rain Computers. And they actually have a very interesting new concept out called the RainPak, and we're going to talk about that, but I wanted to grill them a little bit first because you're a musician.
That's correct.
And so that means that you use computers.
I do.
So I suspect that in a situation like that, having a company is a good excuse to say, I'm going to have something that actually works and makes me happy and I don't have to worry about and think about.
That's the basis of the whole company, to to engender that creativity and make the technology transparent so that you can really just concentrate on the music.
Well, for what it's worth, sitting to my left at my workstation is a Rain laptop from, I believe, 2006.
One of the original live books.
Yeah, one of the original live books.
Mm-hmm.
It still works. So you might think, well, he probably didn't use it that much, and that's why it's still working. But the only thing I've had to do to it was replace the keyboard because it did get that much use. So anyway, and it served me well. And the thing is, it's sort of like a Volkswagen; it refuses to die. So
That's
you
right.
just keep using it,
That's right.
And it's running Windows XP right now because it's from that era. So whenever I need to test something out with Windows XP, I have my Rain laptop for playing with it. So I can certainly vouch to the fact that the stuff works. But I keep running into people. They have a really hard time dealing with the computer end of things. And I have a story that illustrates this well, I think. There was a company that called me up and they said, look, we have no bandwidth and we need to produce a document that tells how to transfer stuff from our software to a piece of hardware. Mm-hmm. It'll take you an afternoon, 3 steps, piece of cake, just go ahead and do it, bill us, whatever. So I handed in this document, it was 23 steps. And the company says, well, we told you to keep it short. We only wanted 3 steps. You went way too detailed here. We're really not happy with it. I said, okay, fair enough. Tell me which steps I can remove, and I'll rewrite it.
Yeah. Understood.
So the RainPak thing, the thing that I like about it is it's really more like an ecosystem. So why don't you?
It is.
Why don't you tell us about the whole? Because it's a whole package. It's support too, right?
It is. It's support. It's an ecosystem is a really good word. I'm as you mentioned, I'm a musician. I'm a bass player, a songwriter. Two types of musicians that with very short attention spans. I need it now. And when you are in,
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Exactly. So when you're in the heat of battle, when you're in the creative zone, you want this transparent technology. You want not to think about the computer, the interface, the software, nothing. You want to think about the creative aspects. You want to think about the songwriting and you want to think about reverb, not hard drives. We cut our teeth on a lot of larger clients, places like we do the Conan O'Brien show, we do Cirque du Soleil, we do the U.S. Olympic Committee. These people, know what they're doing already, and they have an infrastructure in place to ease them along. It's the person who's just at the beginning of the arc of their creativity and their creative career who deserves a technological introduction to music that smooths the way and lets them concentrate on writing the song or lay down the bass part or the 11th guitar without the choppiness of having to call tech support in the middle. So what RainPak is it's a combination. It's us in partnership with a company like Avid, who makes Pro Tools, like Steinberg, that makes Cubase, like Presonus, Studio One, and we take a Rain computer, laptop, desktop, or rack mount system. It sort of doesn't matter. An audio interface, if we're talking about audio, their software, and then we combine it with our Rain Care tech support for the computer itself, and then our Rain Ensemble plug-and-play support, which covers the gray area between the computer and the software and the hardware. So if a problem crops up, even if there's nothing wrong with the computer itself, we've got you covered. And that's really it. There's none of that vicious cycle where you're calling a company whose job it is to get you off the phone as soon as possible.
It's their fault.
Exactly. There's a lot of finger pointing that goes around in the industry. Rain, at its core, is really just about empowering the creativity of those who have a great idea, the next Nirvana or the next Alicia Keys.
So if you get a RainPak, are the drivers and the software and everything pre-configured?
Well, that's interesting. So they certainly can be in some cases, but the Rain Ensemble plug and play is such that we can connect to your computer remotely, and we can set it up the way you want. So what happens is you get home and you get this package together, and the first call you make is to us. You book a plug and play session, and you get on with one of our technicians who are friendly, knowledgeable, easygoing, and they are musicians themselves, so they sort of understand the ins and outs. And you allow us to log into your computer one time securely, and then it becomes a training session and a conversation. Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to write songs. Okay, so you're going to want this here and this here. We're going to put your plugins on this part of the hard drive, and we're going to put the applications here. We're going to install it with you, and you can ask questions as you go along, and it's an instructive process, and it is custom tailored to the individual. So everybody's got a different style of working, so this is a way to make this a completely bespoke, complete setup, and we're doing concierge service.
So it's kind of like you've evolved from the original model, which was not yours, but just in general. Here's a bunch of stuff. Now it's your problem.
Exactly.
To the next step up, which was here's a bunch of stuff that worked when it left us. Now it's your problem. To now it's our problem. We'll help you set it up. We'll help you. It's a level of customization that goes beyond just saying we knew that this worked when it left us.
Yeah. You know what? Creative people are the royalty of our generation. They deserve white glove service. They deserve concierge level service. And this is the age of small batch whiskey. You have what you want, and it's uniquely suited to your taste and no one others. So this is the way we can distribute this on sort of a more massive scale, get everybody what they need to do, and push past the technology into the creative space so that we can cultivate an ecosystem of music, audio and visual creation, and the next Nirvana can take root. The next Alicia Keys can come up without the walls that one hits.
Well, you also, I think the fact that you integrate the computers gives you a huge advantage.
Indeed.
Because, I of all people know that if you get the wrong component, the wrong motherboard, the wrong graphics card, the wrong any one of a number of things, the system can just like fall apart.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can specify the computer really tightly, I would think would be a huge advantage in terms of that.
It is, and again, they're designed sort of in partnership with the other manufacturers who lovingly design their software and their hardware. Mm-hmm. So if their technicians whisper in the ears of our technicians, and we work with a company like Avid or Adobe, and they can tell us how exactly it is that their software and hardware should be running on the computer system, we're miles ahead of the game at that point. Right. Computers are they are ubiquitous. They are commodity items, and you can go to Walmart and buy a toaster off the shelf, and with the same processor and hard drive that everybody else uses. But again, this is the time of small batch whiskey, where a computer, you have every right to have a computer custom designed to the end that you want to use it. Mm-hmm. This is not your dad's computer. This is not somebody else's laptop. This is a computer designed for creative people, for that creative mentality. There's nothing wrong with Apple, HP, Dell. These are wonderful companies. They make exciting stuff, but they make it for everybody,
right.
Everybody else. We just make it for you.
It's almost like instead of selling a guitar, you sell the guitar set up already.
Indeed.
It's gone through the plec machine. You replace the bad strings with good strings.
That's right.
The pickups are the right height. The pole pieces are screwed in properly.
There's a booth here. A very famous bass maker, Federa, Vinny Federa. I talked to him earlier today. This is a company that I was closely associated with when I was a professional bass player. And what Vinny did was he cut the body to the shape of where my ribs end. At the top, it's a 35-inch scale instead of 34 because I have long arms and long fingers. This is bespoke tailoring, and this is and it's concierge service. Now that experience it's very expensive to do, this RainPak is also designed with an eye towards affordability. We want to cultivate this next generation who doesn't necessarily have the endorsement, who doesn't have the time and the excess money to go through and try this and try that, and this doesn't work. We've made the decisions for the most part. We've done all the heavy lifting. We've done the hard work, the testing. We've made the mistakes already.
So where do you see in general, looking ahead, where do you see the technology going? I mean, obviously the multi-core processor was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap RAM was a big deal.
Indeed.
Being able to have 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes really changes the way things work. Having Blu-ray, now available to save your project. I mean, there's all these things going on. Where do you, sort of, aside from where Rain's going, where do you see the field in general going?
Well, what's interesting is there's a relentless course towards more functionality, and there is what I think of as scope creep. Everything becomes more complex. Everything becomes more complex because it can. There's this virtually unlimited power. We have a 16-core system with 96 gigs of memory and 12 terabytes of hard drives. You can do anything with it. That doesn't mean that being able to do anything with it should pollute the creative process. So where I personally see it going, and what Rain strives for, is to bring this combination of endless possibilities yet simplified design. Because it's not about the speeds and feeds. It's not about I can have 1,000 tracks. The Beatles never had 1,000 tracks. They had 4, and it was the greatest music in the world.
I always felt if you needed 100 tracks, what you really need is a course in arranging.
Indeed, absolutely.
So no, I get what you're saying. It's nice though, where it really does make a difference is, for example, in terms of complex productions where you have multiple things going on at the same time. You're streaming stuff from disk, maybe, like in my case, doing screen captures off of things, or running a video program at the same time as an audio program, because all those complicated things. It's nice to have that kind of horsepower available.
That's right.
And it's certainly with RAM-hungry samplers and things like that, to be able to stream stuff off of RAM instead of disk. So I know what you're saying, that the power is nice, but there are limits to how much you're actually going to use.
Focus must stay on the creative aspect. It must be about the music in the end. It's very, very important that we don't get distracted with the technology and what could be done. It's what do you want to do? The other idea I like is the idea of collaboration without the overlords of corporate structure. I want people to be able to produce independent films and make independent music of such a high quality that it can compete in the industry and hold its own, yet be created with a very a purity of heart and emotion. And collaboration is key. We must continue to work to obliterate the barriers that go up between creative professionals. And if you are in the Ukraine and I am in New York City, I want to be able to get you to play guitar on my against my bass track, and I want somebody else to have the pick of the litter so that somebody can lay down vocals. The internet is giving us that. Connectivity is increased every single day. And again, we just have to be sure that the technology doesn't become the point. It doesn't get in the way. Rain is fighting for that tooth and nail: the simplicity and the creativity and the connectivity.
Well, once the computer turns into a musical instrument,
And it does.
I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where I'm as fluid with a computer and an operating system as I am with a guitar.
Anything can be an instrument, absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful concept. This idea that that anything that empowers you, whether it's a guitar or whether it's a computer, it can become an extension of your creative humanity, and that it can be second nature. As a bass player, I never look at my left hand anymore. I don't want to have to look at the keyboard either. I want to have to not think about the computer and have this unbridled creative experience. It's necessary.
All right, well, good luck with the concept. I'm sure a lot of musicians will be very grateful that they don't have to worry about those configuration issues and that does this work with that, and am I doing the right thing? And I think the idea of just being able to say, here's a system, it works, we'll help you set it up, We support it. I think that's something that its time has come. It's something that's definitely needed.
I wholeheartly agree, and thank you.
All right, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Craig.
Appreciate it, man. Keep making those good machines.
Yes,
that
thank
don't
you.
blow up and run cool.
Absolutely.
All right.